3 months ago today. The strike was notable, though, because it was multiple shots that were fired by the military, killing 2 people who appeared to have survived the first strike. And now Democrats say they need more blue crime.
In case you missed it, my friend and fellow church member, also known as the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, he's in some hot water. All right, the libs are trying to destroy him. They're coming after him. They hate him so much. Why? Why do they hate him? Because he's effective. Because he is striking fear into the hearts of the narco-terrorists. Because he is actually punishing evildoers just like God's word tells him to do as a civil magistrate. He's incredibly effective. That's why they hate him. And, oh, man, it is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. So, my friend Pete Hegseth gave the order to blow up some narco-terrorist drug boats. And then the fake news Washington Post reported that he essentially double-tapped the terrorist. He hit the boat, there were some survivors, and then he hit him again. And allegedly, Pete Hegseth said, kill them all. Like, this is the cartoonish version that they have of Pete Hegseth, that he's just sitting there like, yeah, we got to get him. We got to kill them all. When in reality, he's actually just an incredibly effective Secretary of War. And he's so effective. He's not just effective at the job itself, right? Leading the military. He's also just so incredibly efficient and ruthless at owning the libs. And it's just fun. It's just fun. It's beautiful. So let's jump over to X and see how my buddy Pete set the internet ablaze with the dankest meme I have ever seen. I mean, it is perfection. It is perfection. So let's jump over here. And if you guys want, I'm thinking about doing a new series called Yesterday on X. And we'll just jump over to X. I'll give my take. We'll see what's going on. If you guys want me to cover yesterday's news on X, let me know. So let's jump over here to X. So this is the meme. This is the meme that did it, guys. So he bombs the narco-terrorists. And then he drops this just masterpiece. Franklin targets the narco-terrorists. Look at that. We just need to take a minute, take a moment of silence to honor this wonderful meme. Anyway, let's see. Let's look at the comments. The first thing is a t-shirt. I gotta have that t-shirt. Man, someone's gonna make a lot of money with that t-shirt. That is so funny. That's got to be copyright, though. Okay, yeah, the libs absolutely lost their mind. Okay, so he posts, this is the meme, right? And then let's go over to the Washington Post. So the Washington Post reported, as I said at the top of the episode, that he said, kill them all, right? First of all, he didn't even say that. The New York Post has already retracted that. Really, this is just them seething, coping and seething at the fact that our Secretary of War is competent and he's doing a good job. So they did their false reporting. It's already been debunked by the New York Times. We'll get into that here in a second. And now we've got Senator Mark Kelly, who is just furious with Pete Hegseth. Let's check that out.
He's putting out on the internet turtles with rocket-propelled grenades. I mean, have you seen this?
Yes.
This is the Secretary of Defense. This is not a serious person. He should have been fired after Signalgate.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Just a masterclass at owning the libs. We are in the internet age. We are in the age of the meme, guys. All right? If you want to have an effective political campaign, it will include memes. It must include memes. And I think whenever we look back at history, once we've defeated the libs and we have a Christian civilization, we're going to look back and find that memes played a pivotal role in rescuing our republic. Obviously, Christ did it, but I think he's going to use a lot of memes to do it. So let's keep going here. All right, so this is Pete's response, and I love it. I love it. Let's check it out. So the libs lose their ever-loving mind because he's protecting our country, because he's taking out narco-terrorists, and he's not apologizing for it. And instead of backing down like most of the spineless, squishy conservatives have done in the past, this is what we get from our current Secretary of War.
I'll say again, we've only just begun striking narco boats and putting narco terrorists at the bottom of the ocean because they've been poisoning the American people. And Joe Biden tried to approach it with kid gloves.
Yes.
And allowed them to come across the border, cartels take over community, 20 million people, hundreds of thousands of Americans poisoned. And President Trump said, no, we're taking the gloves off. We're taking the fight to these designated terror organizations. And it's exactly what we're doing. So we're stopping the drugs, we're striking the boats, we're defeating narco-terrorists, and we're standing...
And you may say one thing, that drugs coming in through the sea by sea are down 91%.
Let's go.
I'm not sure either, sir, because
But down 91% by sea.
we've had a bit of a pause because it's hard to find boats to strike right now, which is the entire point, right? Deterrence has to matter, not arrest and hand over and then do it again, the rinse and repeat approach of previous administrations. This is meant to get after that approach.
Yeah. Oh, this is a beautiful thing. Now, I know we're going to get here in a second to some of the Christians who are hand-wringing, And there is a correct and biblical way to think through this, and I'm going to give you that at the end. But first, let's keep going through. Let's see what else we've got here on X. So here we've got from Jeffrey Mead. It's interesting watching the reactions play out. I'm seeing more outrage from Democrats over Pete Hegseth posting a meme about the U.S. killing narco-traffickers than I'm seeing about the 2 National Guard members getting shot. I wonder why that is. Could it be because he was an Afghani refugee? Could it be because they are for open borders and unlimited immigration? Perhaps. The priorities are completely backwards. Obviously, the outrage never seems to match the seriousness of the actual situation. That is very well said, Jeffrey Mead. But as we know, they need to oppose Trump. That's their primary driving force. This is the friend-enemy distinction at work. Everything that Trump does is evil, bad, and wrong, right? That's what the Trump derangement syndrome is. It's just the friend-enemy distinction. That's all it is. That's their primary goal, to oppose Trump. No matter how dumb it makes them look, Trump derangement syndrome really is a problem. Yes, it is. Well said. I'll give that a like, Jeffrey. Okay, now, we come to the part of the show where I just take you through the memes, through the wonderful Franklin memes that have been dropping all day. It is just a delight. It's just a delight. So let's start here. Franklin stands with Sydney Sweeney. That's a pretty good one. That's pretty good. All right, let's go up, though. Franklin joins ICE. Franklin joins ICE. That's nice. That's nice. In 1 Timothy 4:8, the Apostle Paul tells us that physical training is indeed valuable for the Christian life. And while physical fitness is not the most important thing in the Christian life, it is still of great importance, particularly for men. Why? Because God has called you to protect and to provide. Men, you are called to be protectors. Therefore, God is calling you to be strong, spiritually, emotionally, and yes, even physically. Physical fitness is also important because God has called you to provide. Your family needs you to live a long, healthy life. So, get strong and stay fit with Mount Athos. They are a Christian fitness company that uses some of the best natural ingredients. So I've personally been using their supplements for 6 months now, and I'll tell you right now, I am not going back. They are my new supplement brand. So, stop giving your money to pagan fitness brands that can't even tell the difference between men and women. Join Mount Athos in creating the next generation of health, strength, and spiritual vitality. Visit athosperform.com/reformation. And don't forget to use code reformation for an exclusive discount today. Franklin calls Redditors a bundle of sticks. I don't think I can say that on YouTube. Let's see. Franklin arrests the traitors. Oh, man. Guys, this is peak. This is peak meme culture. It really is. Oh, man, it's a beautiful thing. Franklin ain't got time to bleed. All right, Franklin makes a meme. Now, this one's meta. Okay, that one's pretty good. Not bad. So here, what do we got? This one's from Maverick Alexander. See that one already? Franklin defends the border with force. Okay. Franklin defends the library. Oh, man. Franklin explains what Fauci deserves. Man, we're going deep in this. All right. Franklin questions Ketanji Brown's credentials. You're a fraud. Yeah, she was a DEI hire. That is objective. Literally, Biden said that. So Franklin ends the Fed. Wouldn't it be beautiful? This one's nice, guys. Franklin. This is the original meme. All right. Oh man, those poor ladies who have just been memed into oblivion. Can you imagine being those two libs? Wow, they just see their face. Like every day they probably see their face on a meme. That's incredible. All right, so this is one of my favorite things that I saw. Wait, let's come up here. So from Kids Can Press. Oh. From the people who own the rights to the Franklin the Turtle. Franklin the Turtle is a beloved Canadian icon. It's Canadian, guys. That makes it so sweet. That makes it so sweet. It's just this inadvertently became a way for us to just own America's evil top hat. Sorry for any of you Canadian listeners. Franklin the Turtle is a beloved Canadian icon who has inspired generations of children and stands for kindness, empathy, and inclusivity. We strongly condemn any denigrating, violent, or unauthorized use of Franklin's name or image, which directly contradicts these values. It's just too good. Oh, man, that's just too good. Yeah. Well, anyway, I think that's hilarious. So someone quoted this post, and this was their post. Franklin is helping us deport illegals. Deal with it. Oh, man. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Well, that does it for our little meme section here. That was fun. Let's jump over here. All right, Democrats have convinced themselves that Pete Hegseth will be dragged before the International Criminal Court and convicted for posting a Franklin the Turtle meme they didn't like. That's true. I mean, the libs are losing their minds. Like, I don't have all the posts pulled up here, but they are literally losing their minds. They believe, they truly believe that Pete Hegseth is a criminal of war and that he should be prosecuted, he should be executed. That's what they believe. And here's the thing about that. Well, no, actually, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Let's stick with the program here. We've got from Eric Daughtry. Holy smokes. The New York Times just quietly debunked the Washington Post claims that Pete Hegseth or Admiral Bradley are war criminals by ordering the killing of the terrorists after the initial strike. Turns out Hegseth did not give any further orders, and the target remained lawful because more terrorists might have gone and retrieved the boat. So, yeah, the whole issue was that they hit the boat, and there was a couple of survivors, and then they hit him again. And, of course, the Washington Post claimed that Pete said, kill them all. And here's the thing about it. Apparently, I don't know, there are people who are saying it's illegal if he did say that. He didn't say it, objectively. But I don't even grant the premise. Like, if you've got terrorists who are trafficking deadly drugs into your country that have devastated our communities and killed our citizens, yeah, you're gonna blank around and find out. That's my view of it. Yeah, maybe don't go into that line of work where you are trafficking in deadly drugs that are killing Americans. Maybe don't do that. Okay, and so Romans 13. We'll get there in a second, but Romans 13 makes it very clear. The civil magistrate's role is to punish evil doers. And that's exactly what Pete Hegseth and all those down the chain of command to the man who pulled the trigger, that's what they were doing. They were striking fear into the hearts of evildoers. And that is what God has placed civil magistrates on this world, on this earth, to do. It says in Romans 13 that they are quite literally servants of God, and they bear the sword on behalf of God. And their job is to strike terror into evildoers. So I'm glad. I don't grant the premise. Even if he did say, yeah, double tap them, get them, kill them. Yes, that's good. That's right. I mean, so long as it's lawful. I don't know. I don't know the laws. I don't know the international war crime laws. All right. I'm just telling you in principle that if you've got narco terrorists who are, terrorizing our country, yeah, they deserve to die. They deserve to die. So let's keep going here. Breaking, Pete Hegseth and Admiral Bradley are now being encouraged to pursue defamation charges against the Washington Post after the New York Times revealed, as we just read, that it blatantly lied about them ordering survivors to be killed. Yeah, I hope they sue the Washington Post. I hope they just devastate the Washington Post. They'll probably settle, but I hope they do it. I hope they do it for defamation. You can't, they set the world ablaze the internet ablaze with a lie, And now there will be millions of people who don't see the New York Times' retraction or the clarification. There's just going to be there's going to be millions of people who just believe that Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, whenever he saw the survivors struggling to get back in the boat, they just wanted to get back to their families, and he said, kill them all. That's what they believe. Now you've got millions of people who believe that because they lied. But yeah, I hope that they do get sued. I hope that they sue them for defamation. Now, let's get to the real reason why the media hates Pete Hegseth so much. And it's because he's a straight, white, Christian man with a beautiful family. This is why. This is exactly why. This is why Democrats hate Pete Hegseth. Because he's like a normal guy. He's a straight, white, Christian male. And they can't stand that. That is the hegemonic power structure that they are seeking to destabilize and destroy, and so that they can usher in their gay race commie utopia. Right? He is the epitome of that. He's handsome. He's a good-looking guy, right? And he's very, very successful. He's ascended the heights of power in America. He's one of the most powerful humans on the planet, right? They hate him. They hate him because he's incredibly effective. We already went over that. And they also hate him because he is, like I said, not only is he effective at killing narco-terrorists, he is also just profoundly effective at owning the libs. So they hate him because he's a Christian and he's effective at what he does. Now, Orrin McIntyre, guys, if you don't follow Orrin McIntyre, I highly recommend following him on X, on YouTube. Listen to his show. I've been really, really enjoying his takes, and he just crushes on X. Golly, he's so good. So I had him on the show recently, big fan. So I'm just going to read to you guys a couple of his posts that I think are actually really insightful, and they touch on why all this matters, okay? So this is from Orrin. The Democrats are telling U.S. soldiers not to follow orders because if they do, they will be arrested when Dems come to power. This is the Roman Senate telling Caesar he basically has to take total power or else. That's what's going on. The Dems are literally saying, you better not follow those orders. If you follow unlawful orders, when we get power, you are going to be destroyed. That's what's going on. And I think this next one from Orrin really paints the picture here. All right, so he goes to the original post from Pete. And then he's just quote tweeting or taking some screenshots from some libs. We're putting this mother effer in prison when this crap is over. All right. That's one. The next one. Hey, sec war. You criming again? Let there be no doubt. You will be held accountable along with those that executed your illegal orders. All right. So that's just a sampling of hundreds of thousands of libs who are saying similar things. And Orrin, I think, was dead on with this. This is a gentle reminder that unlike the right, if the left ever return to power, they will make good on every threat. They will make good on every threat. The political is not a game. You win and punish your enemies, or they win and punish you. And this is what conservatives, this is what Republicans have got to get through their heads. This isn't a game. I firmly believe that if the left is not devastated, just completely obliterated over the next 3 to, let's say, 7 years, right? It's over. Like, our country is very likely over. I know people are dooming and glooming all the time, but yeah, and there's a point that a lot of people make. They say, we hear this throughout our lifetime, that this is going to be the most important election of our lifetime. And a lot of people roll their eyes. But here's the thing. As our country has degenerated with each passing year, with each passing decade, it actually has been the most important election of our lifetime. Like every single time, right? There's been multiple turning points, multiple forks in the road. And I actually do believe that I don't think that's hyperbole. I think every election over the last, several decades have been the most important election yet. Because as our country slides down the slippery slope of liberalism, we have been losing our country. We've been losing our country. And it's not too late, but it is going to take Republicans stamping out, destroying, demolishing the left with prejudice. I mean, with prejudice, because I believe that if they're not successful, everyone in this administration is going to prison. Yeah, I do believe that. I believe that they don't have any principles, any morals. The left is fundamentally godless, and it's going to get ugly for the administration and for Christians, for conservatives. It's going to get intense. It's going to get intense over the next few decades, unless we win, and we can win. We absolutely can win. But we got to play politics. We got to play the political game. And Christians, a lot of Christians are uncomfortable with that, but you need to stop being uncomfortable with that because it's necessary. It's necessary. If we want to win, Christians, if the evangelicals, Christians, if just Christians as a voting bloc would wake up, would stop with their political apathy, get out the vote in local elections and national elections, it would be over. We would win. We would win if Christians would wake up from their political slumber. So that's a gentle admonition to you guys. Let's end here with David French, shall we? Don't we love David French over here? For those of you who don't know, he is about the squishiest of squishy Christian commentators. So he did not approve of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth's meme, and let's see why. He just saw fit to quote Isaiah 5:20. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. A lovely verse. I love that verse, actually. Isaiah is one of my favorite books of the Bible. Not relevant, all right? Not relevant, man. So, and this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the guy, I believe it was David French, who said something like, this time Kamala, always Jesus, or something like that. Was that David French? You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But that's the general sentiment that he represents, right? He's this squishy, liberal Christian who considers himself to be one of the only true conservative around, but actually he just votes with libs, with leftists. And he's actually voting to destabilize and destroy our nation. And it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's just never acceptable as a Christian to vote for the libs. And I mean that with utter sincerity. You cannot vote for the party of baby murder, child transitioning and mutilation, open borders. That is an existential threat to our country alone. Christians need to get over their fear of being called racist or xenophobic and actually begin to love their neighbor enough to care about preserving our commonwealth. That's the facts on the grounds. But here's the deal. Romans 13, as I was teasing earlier, Romans 13 will end here, guys. We'll end here. This is what it's all about. This is why Pete Hegseth is absolutely right in what he did. Romans 13. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval. For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is God's servant. He is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. And that is what Pete Hegseth was doing whenever he executed the narco-terrorists on the drug boats. He was bearing the sword on behalf of God. So, we love Pete. We love what he's doing. Guys, we've got to learn to think biblically about everything. We've got to learn to apply the Word of God to all of faith and all of life. So keep tuning in. And let me know if you guys like these Yesterday on X episodes. I might keep doing them. We'll see. It's kind of fun. So you guys know the charge. Get out there and build, defend, and expand the kingdom of our Lord Jesus Christ.